Hey guys, my name is Bailey, and today we're going to have a BJD type of live. I'm not going to worry about the chat necessarily. I would really encourage you guys to leave comments after the video uploads because I will respond to those, but I'm just going to talk and do my little presentation because I don't want to be um, I don't want to be constrained by my phone storage. I just want to be able to restring my doll and talk about dolls, and just kind of give you guys some really good tips on how I think is, a good method of getting into BJDs if that's something you're interested in. So today I have my Volks Four Sisters USD. I can't remember which Four Sisters she is, but she is old and she is yellowed, and I already took her wig off. Her name is Tansy in my collection, and she is one of my Grail dolls, and she was painted by an artist who painted my doll when I was a kid. I won a free face up, and I won it on my birthday. Like, I got the message on my birthday, and she painted my doll for me. And when I was stalking her page, this was the doll that was most recently painted. I had to sell my dolls, but I actually just put one on layaway, the same doll that I had when I was a kid. And I'm very excited. She's going to be new, so she's not like the same doll, but she is the same mold and everything. And hopefully, I can reach out to a face up artist and kind of get her painted in the same way. But that kind of inspired me to want to share my tips a little bit more sooner than I was originally planning on it. So basically, I got into BJDs around 2010. I followed a American Girl creator, and she got into pull-ups. And then shortly after she got into pull-ups, she got into BJDs. But my basically my doll collecting modes went from middle school, I was into pull-ups, and high school, I was into BJDs. Elementary, I was into American Girl. But so that's kind of like my evolution, and I still really appreciate all of them today. So this is my girl, and this is why I have to restring her, is because she is very floppy. Um, just making sure I was going live. But so I'm gonna take her head off, and a lot of dolls have different methods of like how you take their head off. This one is a Volks doll, and they are the original, creators of BJD, as they are today, and we know them. And so it just pulls off. It has a magnet on it. Some of them are a lot harder to take off, and then some of them are a lot easier. This is my doll. His name is Rillo, and he has a faceplate. And so it just kind of comes off like that. Um, but yeah, so basically, I took her head cap off, and then inside her head, she has eyes that are held in with putty. And as you can see, they are looking up. But if I was to manipulate the putty, I could get her to look any direction I wanted to. She's pretty loose, so I'm able to just pick up her S hook, but she has an S hook in her head. And I actually just realized I forgot my string. So I'm going to have to go dig that out. I can't believe I I think I know where it is, but just give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. Okay. At least I knew exactly where it was, so here we are. We have her string. I do not know how I'm going to restring her, but basically what you do is these dolls are held together by elastic. So you can see they have the S hook holding onto their elastic and the head right here. So if I was to slip this S hook off, she would come all in pieces, and that's not necessarily the best way to do it. The better way to do it is to start with the limbs first, and to just kind of like take them off. And my girl is very loose, so I'm not using tools. I'm just using my hands. But so we're just taking off her arms. And I like to keep my pieces on a towel so that way they don't roll. I'm actually going to move her head to somewhere more safe so that way, nothing happens to her. Okay. And then this is her backing. So something about BJDs that is very controversial is that they have what's called recasts. And recasts are something that I it's a hard thing to talk about, but essentially this is a way to prove that your doll is real. They have a lot of markings inside of their head. And I have this Amazon doll right here. I would not have bought an Amazon doll just because I'm, aware, but she was actually sent to me by a friend and I really love her. Her name is Patchouli. She comes with me a lot of places. But when you see BJDs and stuff on Amazon or like, I don't know, just if you look up BJDs, a lot of the times you're going to see recasts. And it's going to be really hard for somebody to know, what they're looking at when they don't know BJDs. So basically, yeah, it's just a really hard topic to like kind of go around, but there are companies that like I will personally recommend to you guys. I've never restrung a Volksdoll either, so I see that there are some chats and I want to say hi. I'm just kind of going on a presentation type thing, and if anybody has any questions, once the video uploads or like I can see the live comments and I can kind of respond that way, but I have a little notes kind of thing for the live. So basically, the companies that I really like are Volks, and this is a Volks doll. I'm just gonna actually take her apart, it's fine. So I have a Volks doll right here, and she was okay. She came out in 2012 or 11, I can't remember. And basically you can kind of see here how they're like strung in a way. It's kind of a funny visual. So I'm going to take my crochet hook. I don't use too many tools for my BJD because I have never felt like I needed tools, honestly. So I'm going to try to just use my crochet hook. I wonder if I actually need them for some Volks dolls, huh? Anyways, I know I can get it done. So some companies that I really trust are also carried by this company called Denver Doll. There's a few places that are similar to Denver Doll. There's like Fabric and Friends. Yeah, that's one. I'm trying a Doll Peddler. I bought from them at MDCC. And they will carry BJDs. And they carry a lot of different brands of BJDs. And that is something that's like very beneficial to us in the United States because basically, I'm just going to cut this. I need it to like measure her string, but it's frustrating me as I talk. So the companies that sell BJDs in the States, like Denver Doll, that's the one that I use and I just put a doll on layaway. Okay, so her foot came apart like this. We're gonna get it together. I know that. If there's one thing I can do, is I can put a doll together. So the shipping for BJDs, BJDs are very expensive dolls, as probably everyone's aware who knows anything about them. and they are also expensive to ship because they come from overseas. They're typically in a very large package and they are expensive, so they are typically also insured. Um, the Denver doll, all of those places, they are a middleman. So essentially, once you buy your doll, they will place a large order to whatever company it is. Like they do like a order a week kind of thing. And they get the doll here and then they charge you less shipping. So it's honestly like perfect and very nice to get them from there. And I feel bad cutting her string because I kind of need it, but it's fine. Okay, so now after we got all of like the company kind of thing, like getting it from directly the company, um BJDs are made specifically for you and your order most of the time. Most of the time BJDs aren't even existing until you place an order and then they will create the doll for you. So in that process, these dolls are, they're very intricate to make and they will, sorry, getting my train of thought with this string. Okay. All right. So the wait times for BJDs, back in the day, it used to be 2 months. I honestly don't know if it's still 2 months. I'm sure there's companies out there that are doing 2 month wait times, and that's amazing. That's amazing. Sounds crazy, but it is. And basically, okay, so it's all one piece. Cool. This is string exact from Volks. I bought at MDCC. So, okay. Sorry if this is a lot. But anyways, I really like Denver Doll. They carry Fairyland dolls. They carry Let's dolls. Let's was originally where a lot of the Fairyland sculpts came from. So I really like Fairyland and Let's. Resin Soul is another one, and Resin Soul and Doll Leaves. So Resin Soul is also called Bobobi. But Resin Soul and Doll Leaves, they make dolls that are relatively cheaper than the average BJD, and they are good. Like it's a good company. You're gonna get a good BJD. You're gonna be happy. But something to keep in mind when you are picking out one is the sculpt. So a lot of people, they might just buy a BJD and they might be completely happy with it. But for me, I have characters with my dolls, and something that you should really consider is the sculpt of your doll. And if you can find photos of the sculpt blank, not painted, it will really help you see exactly what they look like underneath all of this makeup. Because I have my girl Basil right here, and she is painted by the company. She is adorable. I love her. She is a tan Pookie Rin. My other doll is a So-So, Pookie So-So. I have actually had the faceplate since I was a teenager, and I'm very happy. And then we also have these dolls back here that are painted by an artist. And so an artist hand painted this doll for me. Typically, the company face ups are also done by hand. A lot of these dolls are made by hand. So that's why they're very expensive. They're one off dolls made for you. Yes, you pick out the sculpt, but they make it for you, and I just think that that experience is so unique. Um, so we're gonna copy what we're seeing here, but I actually kind of don't like how she was strung. So we're gonna just play it by ear a little bit. So she had 3 strings in her, which I think is really weird. I don't know why she would have 3 strings. Typically, they have a long string that runs down the body and into the legs from the top of the neck. So it carries that, and then there's a small one that connects the arms together. So I'm gonna start as I do every time with the arms. So what I'm gonna do is I have this one right here, and it is, I think, the shortest piece that I have. So I'm going to copy this knot right here. That's why I didn't want to cut them, but it's honestly, it's fine. I can see the length that it is. So we're gonna copy this knot and maybe even make it just a little bit shorter because she's loose. So I got it here and I feel happy about that. So I'm gonna cut the string and I'm definitely gonna have a lot left over. And then I'm gonna make a tiny knot on it. And then, so if you look at the companies that like I recommended or something and you don't see a doll that you want, but maybe you see a doll somewhere else that you want, research that company. Like, go on Instagram and type in the exact doll that you found online and see if there's photos of her online or them, or there's lots of different types of dolls. And so another one is Flickr, Flickr, and that was the biggest photo sharing website back in the day. I was on Flickr all the time. So basically, Flickr is a photo sharing website that we were all kind of on back in the day. And if you like, I'm so sorry. But I still use Flickr to like look up doll photos, like even today, because it is just so good at seeing exactly what these dolls look like from the owner photo, because it's kind of sometimes like Instagram versus reality, and not in a mean way. Like, the dolls are obviously still cute, but it's like, I've had a doll that I loved the photos of, and then I got it and I didn't like it and I sold it. So there's like, it's just something that you should take your time with and make sure that you really are loving the doll that you're picking out. So I'm gonna try to just go ahead and put this in her because it is a mess, to get this cross section right here. So I'm going in with her arms right here. You can kind of see it poking out. And then I'm pulling this down just straight through her neck. She actually needs a really fat knot. That's interesting. Okay. Anyways, so I'm gonna use my S hook. Okay. And the S hook will hold the string in place like that, and it's how you take off the head and all that stuff. So this string is kind of looking good. Let me get it through here, and then I might need a longer piece for her torso. I'm actually not sure. So I just kind of take the string and I shove it in here, and then once it gets in the limbs where it's harder to just be shoving stuff, I'll show you how I use just regular string to string them. So I'm just trying to fish these out on either side. Okay, I got this one. All right. And so it's actually looking like I needed a longer piece because I would really like both sides of the legs to be this long. And I don't think I'm going to get that. So I will cut another piece. But Restringing is something that a lot of people find hard to do. I don't find it hard. Okay. I don't find it hard to do at all. I just think that it's one of those things where it's like, "Oh, my doll's apart, and I don't want her to be." And I have to figure out the puzzle, and that's kind of the fun of it. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna cut it here, and it's gonna be good. I promise. Alright. And then as I was talking about looking at the doll every day that you want, so I have my doll that I put on layaway. This doll I've had before and I know exactly what she looks like, but I have her as my background. Like I took this advice because I really do believe in it. I have her as my background on my phone. It just makes me so happy to look at her and I am just so excited. Mine is my photos from when I was a kid of her, but um so yeah, analyze its features in the owner photos and just make sure that that is the doll that you're in love with because these dolls are expensive and they're kind of hard to sell. Like you can sell them, but you might not get the exact amount that you paid for, and that's kind of like upsetting when the dolls are really expensive. Um so another tip is to take your time and to figure out how you want to approach this hobby because there's a lot of different avenues with BJDs, and BJDs are like probably the most artistic doll in my opinion. Obviously I'm not the bearer of what is artistic. However, I do genuinely believe that these dolls like are so amazing and you can do so many different things with them. I'm trying to find just like something to secure this with. Sorry. Okay, because I'm going to work on her arms now. Okay, because I have her legs all together. So this is what I'm working with. She's kind of loose right now, but that's because her legs have to go all the way down. So we're going to get into her arms. And is this the string I had? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to get into her arms. But the ways that you can approach like the hobby are kind of endless. So for me, um I really like to write stories, and that's how I got into these dolls, honestly, was I just thought that they were so cool for storytelling. And I have always wanted to just be a writer, and so having my dolls to like okay, so I have this. I'm gonna put it over here. It's gonna hold on to it for me. Okay. This is where the stringing comes into play. Taking my string. This is my tool. This is my expensive tool, guys. So I'm putting it through the string like a loop. And then, depending on what kind of string you have, it might not go through all of these tiny small holes. So I'm going to take an elastic and I'm just going to tie it like this and then I'm going to snip off the excess. Um, but you can craft basically, I mean, I know that you can do this for any doll, but you can craft basically anything for these dolls. You can craft little trinkets for them, just as a basic example. But you can craft eyes. There's eye molds, and you can learn how to paint eyeballs and like make them. How my doll has his little eyes. You can make eyes. You can learn how to paint faces. Even at like the most expert level, this is a handmade doll by an artist. And I think this one was made with clay, like polymer clay. Because I watched one of her videos, but it could just be casted from that one. Okay. So you can make yeah, eyes, you can make wigs for these dolls. Um, it's just I think I need different string for I haven't strung a tiny doll in forever. Okay, that's okay. Alright. I have string over here, I'm gonna grab it. But, yeah, so you can craft clothes, you can craft shoes, you can craft wigs for these dolls, stories. You can really just pour your heart and soul into them, and they can just be any type of muse that you want. There was a YouTuber back in the day, and she she painted her dolls. Like, she would customize them exactly how she wanted them, and then she would use them for portraits and paint them. And they're just so realistic that, like, I can genuinely see how she was doing that because, like, it's really like you're painting a little person. They, are in scales, and the scales are meant to be representative of, like, the scale to humans. And so we have, I'm gonna my doll that I'm stringing right here is a, um, 1/6 scale doll. So, like the fraction 1/6. She's a 1/6 scale doll, and that is typically anywhere from, I would say, 20 to 30 centimeters. Um, the little dolls that I keep pulling up, the Pookies, those are 1/12 scale dolls, and they, are honestly, like, the smallest kind of frame. They do get smaller. They do get smaller, but that is, like, typically what you would see. I'm having so much fun with this, rubber band. Not working. But then on going up after the 1/6, we have the 1/4, which is her right here. She is a 1/4 scale doll, and they are really like AG height. So here's my AG doll right here, and that's how tall my 1/4 scale doll is. And then here is my 1/3 scale doll, and he's really good at posing. I love him. And as you can see, he is even taller than my American Girl doll. So they come in all different sizes, but that's not even the biggest size. He's a 1/3 scale doll, and he's not even like close to the biggest size. Okay. So now we're back at square one, and we're trying to restring my doll. This is going good. I think I've, like, kind of went through them. Let's see. Ooh, okay, okay. I actually have more to talk about. Alright, so I have to talk about artist dolls right now because those are really popular in the BJD world, I think, right now. But, I mean, I could be wrong. Um, so artist dolls are anything that's it's actually, like, a really funny term to me because, like, I think that the BJD artists who create these guys are artists as well. So I like that there's, like, artist dolls, but I think that's just in comparison to, the typical general doll world over, BJDs versus artist dolls. I don't think that's the comparison. I think it's just over, like, the mass-produced kind of dolls. But there's what's called artist dolls, and that would be my blue girl right here. I got her at MDCC, and a lot of times with the artist dolls, it is actually kind of a game to get them, and you can, follow the artist, and then as you follow the artist, you'll see their posts, and they will kind of, like, say if they're gonna be at some convention sometime, or they'll post when they're going to put dolls for sale, and there's just, like, kind of its own world in that. I have a few BJD artists that I follow on Instagram. Who created my blue doll is gosh, why is this actually I think I'm gonna use the string. I think I'm just gonna use the string. I'm a genius. Alright, let's do it, guys. That's pretty funny. Okay. Alright. Okay. Wow. Look at me go. Okay, let's see if it actually works, though. Okay, but my blue girl is by Anderson Art Doll. Here we go. And I, got her at MDCC, and my friend Katie got one too. They it's just, like, really cool to, like, meet the artists, I will say, over just buying the doll and waiting for it to show up. But that's a way to get into BJDs is the artist dolls, and just following them to see when they have them for sale. Oh, yeah, this is ugh, man, what was I doing, guys? So, typically, if you have just, like, a smaller string than the doll I just haven't strung a small doll, like, in forever, so it's just been a long time. But I'm taking the string and I'm just kind of, like, putting the pieces on. So the next one would be her hand, and she's got some, like, type of wrist joint right here. So I'm going to hold that up to the hand and kind of see what I'm doing with it because, like I said, these things are just like puzzles more so when you're stringing them. Okay. All right. Yeah, I can do that. Okay. So I'm going to take this and just put it exactly like I had it. Right there. Boom. Make sure it's lined up on the side I want it. Yep. Looks good. All right. And then so what I'm going to do now is pull this through. Got the string. You can take your crochet hook, shove it through, hold it on like that, and then I'm just gonna connect. Oh, yeah, pull your string out so you're not confused. And then I'm just gonna connect the S hook onto the wrist. Oh, okay. Well, the S hook's gonna fall off, and then I'm gonna connect it onto the wrist. So another thing to talk about is layaways. So these dolls are really expensive. I have a doll currently on layaway, and I think that it's a great way to get dolls because Hi guys. Anyways, trying to put my doll together here. Okay, cool. Hello? Yay. Mm. Okay. I put it on wrong. This is the best video I've ever made. I'm so glad I decided to do it live, huh? Okay. All right. Let me catch this string here. I'm sweating. Restringing dolls is a lot of fun, as you can see. Okay. Goodness gracious, girl, you are so much fun to string, huh? Okay. All right, sorry guys. So, We have layaways that are amazing. And so companies will offer layaways sometimes, but sometimes they do not. And Denver Doll, for example, has layaways. Since I just did one, I'll kind of like tell you what I know about them. But I've done lots of layaways with them even when I was a teenager. That's kind of how I was getting my dolls, was through layaways from Denver Doll. And okay, it doesn't say which wrist size it is. That's fine. A lot of the doll legs are marked. Not Volks. That's funny. It's actually kind of funny. My Fairyland dolls, they'll tell me if it's like the right leg or the whatever leg. Um so Denver Doll has layaways. They have 3-month, 4-month, and 6-month and 9-month layaways. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on with them. Depending on, oh my gosh, I keep doing this. I keep doing it backwards. Guys, I don't know. This is a puzzle and I'm just being, honest with you guys because I think it's going to destigmatize restringing maybe. Cuz it is hard, but it's just like, I don't know, you're spending time with your doll. Okay. All right. There we go. And then take hand off. Cool. Okay. Goes on like this. It goes on like this. I've never restrung a Volksdoll in my life. Sorry, guys. Uh, I'm used to restringing my big guys. My big guys, you can just like, I don't, they're just so much easier to string. I feel like once you do it, they're strung. All right. Goes on like this. This is how it goes on. It doesn't look right, but it is. Okay. We are good. We are stringing a doll together on live. Okay. I can see how it's doing that now. It's crazy. What? Okay. These dolls are so, like, each company is just so different. Um, I've restrung the arms of a small doll before, but never the entire one, and it was a little bit more straightforward than those. Volks has a lot of little pieces. Okay. Okay. Anyways, so I guess I could talk about my doll that I got. I put a doll on layaway, and I put a Little Fee Luna on layaway. I have a Little Fee already, but this Little Fee Luna was a doll that I saved up for when I was a kid. Gosh. She was a doll that I saved up for when I was a kid, and I was 14 when I got her. I got her in 2012, and she was everything to me. She came everywhere with me, to grandparents' houses, to hospital visits. Like, she was my little doll. I loved that girl so much. And basically, when I turned 18, what is wrong with these wrists? What is wrong with my doll? I'm just gonna string her legs. I'm gonna string her arms later. Okay. So I got my doll in 2012, and in 2013, I won a free face up for her by an artist. The artist reached out to me and said, "You won my face up giveaway," and I got her painted by Eludis, who is now based in the UK. And she, yeah. And she painted my doll kind of similar to Marina and the Diamonds back when she did, Electra Heart, I believe that's what it's called. And so she had, like, a little heart on her cheek, and she was just my baby. I loved that doll so much, and I got to the point where, I had my dream doll. I had my dream doll, and she was perfect. I had, a Let's Delph Suni. She was the first doll that I had ever wanted in the BJD world. Like, I saw her and I was in love with her. I got, mine from a YouTuber that I watched. I bought her doll and I got her for Christmas. So it was my Christmas present, and it was, like, my one thing, and I was like, "This is exactly what I want. I just want this doll." All of my photos of her are like, "I'm so in love with her. She's amazing," like, in the descriptions. And, when I turned 18, my car died, and, I had a job that I was working, and my parents, um, like, really were not about to let me just lose this job over my car. I wish they did. And okay, so we got her legs together. So I'm capable, guys. I promise. um, and basically, I still drive this car today, so it's not like the end of the world. Like, I do still have something for what I sold my dolls for. But I sold my Grail doll. I sold her my Let's Delph Suni. And I still name characters, like, if I need a video game character name, it's her name. Like, I am so like, I miss that doll a lot. And basically, um, after I sold her, I had moved out a few months after, and I don't remember how soon I sold my little fee Luna, but I sold her because it was, like, after I sold my Grail doll, I don't wanna say it was like, "Well, what's the point?" But it really felt that way. And I sold, my little doll, my little fee Luna, and I still miss her so much to this day. Basically, my friend Nadia, she was getting into BJDs. She got her smart doll recently, and she was getting into BJDs, and she was talking to me about them and asking questions, and I was, like, trying to answer them as best as I could. And then I started talking about my childhood dolls, and um after that conversation, I just started crying so bad because I don't even think, like, with $1,000,000 I could get those dolls back. And that's kind of what's so frustrating about having to have sold them and feeling pressured to have sold them also. And so specifically with the $1,000,000, I'm talking about my Let's Delph Suni because she was, from the YouTuber that I watched and all this stuff. And it sounds more emotional than I am right now. I'm just trying to figure out my doll. But yeah, so I don't know why this leg is tighter than the other one, but goes to show that they are literally casted by hand. So, yeah, basically, I just really missed my dolls, and I figured if Little Fee Luna is one that's still available, then I should just go for her. And she might not be like, it makes me wanna cry saying this, but she might not be the exact same doll, but at least she's something to that effect. And that just means so much to me, honestly, because, uh, I don't even know, like, that doll was everything to me. So, anyways, I'm gonna make a community post after my doll is probably all strung. I'm gonna keep trying this leg real quick, but I don't think it's gonna do it. I don't know what's happening. What's happening? So, yeah, BJDs have just been something that has just kind of held my interest for so long because, like, there's just so much whimsy in them, like, human expression in the stories and in the doll creation that there's just something that speaks to me about them. Um, I obviously love my American Girl dolls, and I love all my other dolls, they're awesome, but if I was to pick one doll type to collect for the rest of my life, I would pick BJDs just because there's so many variations of them. Like, there's mermaid BJDs, there's centaur BJDs, there's just so much. You can do stop motions with them. There was, an art teacher that I followed back in the day, and she had what was called, Miss Emily's School for Excellence, and she, like, had this storyline for her dolls, and it inspired people so much that they would make, like, students that go to her doll's school and stuff, and I just think that the community that used to be around BJDs was so nice, but also for a while it was not, I'm gonna be honest. Um, there was a lot of drama, as most communities have, but this one I feel like had just so much drama for no reason. Um, am I stringing her too tight? Nah. But yeah, this one just had so much drama for no reason. Like, I, really loved this one YouTuber, and she got bullied off of YouTube, and it's just so sad, like, to say it out loud because the reason why she got bullied was because she sells her dolls. That like, that was the only reason why, and it was because she styled dolls that people loved, and she would make stories for them that people loved, and they'd get mad at her when she would sell them, and there was, like, confession pages and stuff. I know that's the same for American Girl now, which I hate those confession pages. I think that they just breed negativity. Um, but yeah, and there would be confession pages like, "Oh, why does she sell her dolls?" And I'm like, "Just let her enjoy the hobby." And she would sell them because she wanted to get other dolls, so she would sell the ones that she had to get the ones she wanted. Um, like, it was just such a different vibe back in the day, and, like, I feel like that's kind of why there's no community like that now for them, and oh, come on, girl. Give me your leg. Alright, guys, that's gonna call it for today. I hate it, but I'll post a picture of her when she's all strung, but she's just giving me a hard time. I've never strung a Volksdoll before, but I'm getting the puzzle a lot, but I'm just not gonna make you guys suffer through it. But I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you in my next video. I have one for Katie's birthday present, Nadia's birthday present, and I'm opening a little package for my friend Alexandria. And Kathleen, if you're still watching, you got something in the mail too. All right, bye guys. Love you. I don't know how to turn this off. Okay, there we go.